as far as investing your pension goes, what would you suggest?
Well, far too often when we're talking to clients that have got a pre-existing pension, because part of our service is that we'll review what a contractor's already built up, that patchwork quilt of existing benefits, or maybe a pension that they've taken out of their own back. And far too often, unfortunately, when we're having these conversations, we notice that the individual maybe have taken a pension via his bank, and have quite literally all of his eggs in one basket in one particular fund. It'll be a managed fund with a bank or an insurance company, and in effect, sort of that's like going to the casino and putting everything on black. It really, sort of I can't stress enough that the key to getting the biggest sort of bang for your buck in terms of any money that you put into pension is to carry out a proper allocation of different asset classes. So yes, sort of have some money in the stock market, but if the past 5 years has shown us anything, it's that the markets can ebb and flow, and sort of you'll have good times and bad times in any stock market investment. So what the sensible thing to do is to spread your risks across a number of different asset classes. So typically when we're constructing a portfolio for a client, we'll look at some equity exposure, some money in bonds, commercial property, fixed interest, gilts, and by doing that, you really are ensuring that as one area goes down in value, the smart money is probably transferring into an area that actually you're in as well. So sort of over the long term, you can really begin to develop some momentum and ride out some of those sort of shock waves that can hit any one particular investment market. I mean, for instance, at the moment, you could argue that sort of the stock market is actually doing quite well, but it's come from a very dark place when the credit crunch hit. And sort of obviously, if anybody was 100% invested in an equity fund in 2007, 2008, they got a serious shock to the system when they looked at the valuation on the anniversary of a pension.
Yeah.
However, if we've spread the assets properly, then sort of what you're doing is you're cushioning the blow of some of those shocks, because the smart money moved from equities into government stocks and government gilts.
Yeah.
And so sort of there's been some very, very healthy profits even in the depth of the credit crunch. Sort of gilt funds were doing very, very well as there was this flight to safety, and if a client's already in those areas as well, then so they profit on one area even if another's not doing so well.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. And if viewers wanted to get in touch with you to talk about pensions, what would be the best way?
Sure. Well, we have a website, www.contractorfinancials.com. But if individuals had a question for me directly, my email is tonyh@contractorfinancials.com, or I'm available on 0845 062 8888.